Draw, cowboy. What is up, everybody? It is Brian with First Shot Tactical, back with another video for you here today. And today we are just going to be going over real quick the difference between a single action revolver versus a double action revolver. So, going to be a short video here, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, welcome over to the workbench here. So let's go ahead and get into it and talk about single action versus double action revolver. So I have with me here two different firearms. They look similar, but they are different. This one is a 22 LR revolver from Ruger. So this is a single action. And this one here is a 357, so a little bit bigger of a caliber, double action revolver from Ruger as well. So the biggest thing when talking about single action versus double action is in the trigger and the hammer and how you fire it. So let's start with a single action here. So obviously all these guns are clear. Be safe when working with your guns. So for the single action here, the biggest difference is to shoot this gun, you have to always pull the hammer back in order to fire. So once you have the hammer pulled back, you can now pull the trigger and it'll fire. It'll release the hammer. Otherwise, if I try to pull the trigger, nothing. Even when I pull it hard, nothing happens. So single action is you have to pull the hammer back and then you can shoot the gun. So that's why you see in like the cowboy movies where they're in a duel and they're going like that with the hammer. Those are single action because every time they have to cock that hammer back, they pull the trigger, it fires, and they have to cock it again, and that's how they do it. So single action, you have to pull the hammer back every time. For double action though, it gets a little bit different. So you can do the same process as a single action as far as firing this. So to shoot this one, again, make sure guns are always clear, which I already did, but just want to stress that. To shoot this one, you can do the same thing. Pull the hammer back, and you'll see that brings the trigger ready. And then now when I pull the trigger, the hammer will go forward and the gun will shoot. The other way, though, and this is how it's a double action, is you can actually pull the trigger without the hammer back, and it will still fire. Granted, the big difference, though, is that the trigger pull, when doing it from this point, is a lot heavier because you have to actually pull the trigger hard enough to bring that hammer back and then also release it. So I'll demonstrate here. So for the double action here, the hammer's forward. When I pull that trigger, you'll see it actuates the cylinder there to move it to the next bullet in the chamber and brings the hammer back. And as I keep pulling, it actually throws the hammer forward and will fire that next round. So I can actually just keep pulling it like that to shoot the gun. But again, way harder of a trigger pull when doing that. Versus if I cock it back first, you can see there, the trigger's brought back to set there. So it's a lot less of a trigger pull then and way easier to pull versus doing it from the double action point like that. So that's it as far as single action versus double action. Pretty simple, but I think it's something that everybody should know because otherwise sometimes you'll grab a revolver and be like, oh, I don't get it. It doesn't work. Or they don't understand that, with a double action one, you can, actually pull it back. If you want to be more accurate with your first shot there, pull it back. You have a lot less of a trigger pull and you'll stay on target versus trying to fire this at a target and you have that hard of a trigger pull. You're going to be, kind of shaking for a new shooter and just kind of whiff it off because you're pulling so hard. So you can actually pull it back. You have a lot less of a trigger pull to bring it forward. So that's it for this video. Hope it was helpful. Single action versus double action. If you have questions, let me know down below. If it was helpful, like and subscribe to the channel. Have some more videos coming here shortly. As always, have fun shooting, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.